Okay. Okay. So it's going to be an interactive session anyway. So every question asked by you guys, we will not answer it together. Yes, because it's an MBA class, so I don't expect me doing all the talking. Yeah. Just a minute, please. I have 5 courses this semester. So IPM 102, 9 to 11. Then I have, oh, sorry. I have, you guys, IPM 202, that's 9 to 11. I have IPM 102, that's 1 to 3. Then the remaining, I just want to have my classes Monday and Tuesday so that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can use it for other things. So, okay, I've told Mosu also, Mosu in 300 level, so she'll help me work out for their own class. Do you know anybody in business administration? 200. Please help me call them. I also have boss 208. That's small and medium scale enterprise. So I just want them to fix their class between Monday, Tuesday, so that it will be okay for me. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, it's okay. It's how many credit units? Is it not 2? 2 is what do you think? And so just help me look for 200 level. Please admin, please just tell them to see me, please. I beg. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I just had to figure out something. Okay, so concerning the our slides, I know that I was always dropping weekly questions on the discussion forum, and I don't know, I guess, yes, some people have answered their questions and all that stuff, and to be honest, I've gone through some but have not replied. So the first week we talked about what's the nature of business environment, and on that we talked about the nature of business environment, we talked about the tax environment, we talked about the internal environment. So on the discussion forum, the question I asked there, I said discuss the internal and external factors of business environment. To be honest, anyone setting your exam questions is not going to deviate from what is inside the course material. So just take note of that. Nobody will ask you any question out of your course material. Every question that you are going to be asked is going to be from the course material. And I usually tell people, go through all these tutor mark assessments exercise. It helps a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. Go through them. Do you understand? It is very important. After you've read a particular unit, you should go through the tutor mark assessment and see how you can, answer those questions. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be of help to you guys, so to say. So it's something that, just at least questions will definitely come out. I'm not going to give you any form of expo because the truth is I'm not the one setting your exam questions, but I know that most definitely you would actually see some questions coming out from there. So it's advisable you go through all these tutor mark assessments, all those questions, at the end of each unit. It's advisable you try as much as possible to go through them. Okay, so we have this question here, which is discuss the internal and external factors of business environment. So I really want you people to try and see, how we can discuss on this issue. I don't want to be the one talking. I want it to be an interactive session because basically we will learn from each other. And like I said it before, I've learned from you guys, you guys are MBA students, so I don't expect anything less from you. So who can help us with this question? Number 1, which is discuss the internal and external factors of business environment. Anybody? Hello? I've been trying to, so I'm using my hotspot now, and the thing will just pop up. I'll have to restart again. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't do that stuff. And maybe you should, but I'm working with a baby that I should do it. Should I just do one out? Yeah, yes, I can see Hafsat Musa. Yes, you can unmute yourself there. Yes. Hello, Hafsat. Yes. Hafsat, we can hear you. Hello. Okay, I can see Mr. Keshiro Kolawole. Well done, sir. Do you want to help us? Hello, Mr. Keshiro. I can see Rhoda. Chikwendu. So who wants to help us? Nobody. Hello. I don't know if you guys can hear me. If you cannot hear me, hello.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, and I've been asking that who wants to help us, with the question I just asked. I said that under our discussion forum, a question was thrown, and I said discuss the internal and external factor of business environment. So I said somebody should help us. That it's an interactive section, so someone should at least help us. What's the internal and external environment of business environment? How can you discuss that term?
Okay, let me try. I'm not very good, but
No, just anyhow, my dear. Nobody is perfect, so just say it in your own way. I just want us to be able
Can I
to
try?
Yes, you can, dear.
I can try also.
Okay, so who's talking first? Is it Hafsat?
Hafsat, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, I just want, this is Rhoda.
Oh, Rhoda, okay, go on there. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So from my own understanding, and just to summarize, we know that business environment we have the business environment, talking about the factors that affect the organization where we work. So when we're talking about the internal factors and the external factors, just like the word internal means something that is inside. So those are the factors, like we have the employees, the people that are working in the organization. Those are the factors, the things that they do that affect the business. That is the internal environment. So it consists of the board of directors, the employees, the managers, everyone that is working in that organization. That is the internal environment, the factors that affect the internal environment. And then we talk about the external. We're talking about the external factors. Those are the things are outside the business environment that is affecting the organization, that can either move the organization forward in making profits, or that can also affect or pose a threat to that organization. And when we talk about the external factor, we're talking about the consumers, we're talking about the competitors and all that. So that's just what I want to add to it.
The government,
Which falls under the tax environment. Those
Thank you very much, Rhoda. So basically, that's just a brief explanation. But the word discuss, when you are thrown at that term, discuss, the question is discuss the internal and external factor. And you know, when they say discuss, some can say discuss briefly, some can just put the word discuss. And when you say discuss briefly, obviously, what does it mean? It means that your explanation or whatever you're talking about should be brief. They don't want anything to be too lengthy. Do you understand? So it shouldn't be lengthy. It shouldn't be something that, you know, would bore the examiner. So just discuss briefly is just, you know, few lines, but be very explicit. Do you understand? You don't need to start jumping.
Yes, ma'am.
Bush and start giving some very vague explanation. No, discuss briefly, you go to the major terms. For instance, now, if I use the word discuss briefly, the nature of the business environment, what am I expected to do? I'm expected to explain what the business environment is briefly, then I'm expected to explain what the internal environment is, then bring out the factors. Those factors too, you don't just listen, you also need to discuss, you also need to discuss about them. Do you understand? Briefly. Then you come to the external environment. What is the external environment? Do you understand? What are those factors under the external environment? So all this, when whoever the examiner sees this, he knows that yes, this person has been able to do justice. So it doesn't mean, when they say discuss briefly, it doesn't mean you have to, you know, put in jargons, because that is what a lot of us read. Just because you want your paper to get filled up, do you understand? Then you put in so many jargons, and at the end of the day, that is not even the question, or that's not even the answer, you know, of what, you know, the examiner is asking you. So you should be very explicit when it comes to some terminologies. When you see discuss briefly, you should understand that this person doesn't want too much jargon. He just wants you to go straight to the point. I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yes, you're making.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and sometimes relatively, some people would want you to give examples related. If you can find examples that can relate to, you know, the concepts you are they're actually giving you to explain, then you can give relevant examples to be able to buttress your points. But everything should be brief because of that word discuss briefly. I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yes, you have, ma'am.
Okay, so you guys, can you come back? Sorry, you guys should come back later. Yes. These are Abby. Okay, sorry there. Okay, so basically that's just what I have to say concerning some, you know, how would I put it? That's basically concerning some of all these questions, because a lot of us, we just ramble around questions and we don't really, like for instance now, if they give some people some questions, just what I just said, discuss the internal, and some people say, they would write back the question for you. When they write back the question, then they'll start listing all those things. It doesn't say lists. Do you understand? If the question says list, you know you are listing and you are not explaining. Do you get? If the question says mention, you are just mentioning and you are not explaining. But you know, all these things we forget, and you know, there are points to all these things. So you need to be able to understand the question and how to narrate it properly so that it doesn't affect your mark. Do you get? And another thing is handwriting. I've noticed that most of the time, a lot of us, we don't write properly. And, it's actually, how would I put it? It's very inconvenient for some examiner. Although some people get frustrated and, they might just decide to award the candidate just any mark, maybe because of the writing is very awful and you might not really see, what that person is writing. So please try as much as possible to dot your I's properly and cross your T's. It is very important. I've witnessed somebody, not saying them now anyway, and because of that candidate had a beautiful writing. In fact, they awarded the person more marks than what, he or she was supposed to. But because of they had to vet, and when the other examiner read it, was like, this person is not supposed to be awarded this mark. Now, see, he didn't even write anything. He was just writing gibberish. But that person just said, this handwriting is so beautiful. No, this person is somebody. So they use that as a criteria to award marks. So needless to say, forget the issue of, handwriting, but I won't lie to you, it's something that you need to be aware of. Try as much as possible to make your handwriting very legible. If you have a tiny writing, just make it beautiful. Avoid cancellations where you will have to cancel with your pen and all that stuff. So please, these are things that you would need to be very conversant with when you write your exams. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next. Okay, sorry, who has any question concerning the, or who wants to contribute towards the discussion of the nature of business environment? Any other person? Is there any other person? Okay, Hafizat, I can still see your hands are up.
Okay, yes, ma.
Yes, dear, yeah.
Yes, this tax environment.
Yes, dear.
I'd like to add something.
Okay, yes, you can, dear.
The suppliers, the distributors, customers, and competitors, even marketing intermediaries, they're all part of the tax environment.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's very okay, dear. Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next question, and for week 2, and we talked about for week 2. Okay, we talked about the legal environment, the cultural environment, and the political environment. So for week 2, under our discussion forum, the question that was thrown at you guys was, how does the political system influence business organization? How does the political system influence business organization? Anybody? How does the political system influence business organization? Please, the way I want the class to be is you should be very interacting. So anybody can just come. There's no perfect or wrong answer. We are all here to learn. So please, you could just try as much as possible, to contribute so that we can learn from each other, please. I would really appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay, ma. In my own understanding, my own personal understanding.
Is that Rhoda speaking?
No, Chikwendu.
Oh, Chikwendu, thank you very much, dear. Yeah, your voice sounds alike.
The political system, how it influences the business organization. How it influences the business organization. It influences it as well, because when there is a political change, there can be like difference in government policies, what is it called again? Taxes and all whatnot. That's my little understanding, ma.
Okay, that's your little understanding. Thank you very much. So who else again has any contribution concerning that question? Any contribution, please? Any contribution? Okay. Chikwendo has helped out, Hafizat and Rhoda. So we have Abubakar, we have Sangodo. Okay, Rhoda is, sorry. We have Keshinro. Mr. Keshinro is like you just abandoned us and you're not even contributing. Okay, so Abubakar, do you have anything to say? Even Hafizat and Rhoda, you can also contribute, please, if you have anything meaningful, because the truth section is that
Hello, ma.
it's going to help you it will give you that retentive memory in case questions like this come in. You'll be able to say, oh, this is what Rhoda said, or this is what Hafizat said, and you try and remember. Do you understand?
Okay.
Group like
Yes, ma. I want to make an input, ma.
Yes, dear. Okay.
Okay. Although I was not really in this class, but
no problem. Yes, you can.
But I can just add to the what I've read and what I understood.
Yes. Okay.
Depend on the functions of the political system. I know that we have about 3 functions. We have the legislative. We have those are the ones that make the law. And how this can affect the business is when the law is made. For example, when there is a political law, it can either affect the business it can either affect the business. For example, if the tax rates goes up, it can affect the business, whereby there will be increment in the prices of things, and that is one of the things. Then we also have the executive function that implements the law, and we have the judiciary function, which is also concerned with the application of the law and the interpretation of the law. So the decisions of these government functions can either pose a threat to the business environment, or otherwise it can also affect it and improve the business environment. That's
okay. Good job. Okay, yeah. So thank you guys very much. So basically, in order for you to answer a question like this, we just read it out now. How does a political system influence business organizations? So first of all, you would want to explain to your examiner what a political system is, or rather, a political environment. You would want to incorporate that into the start of your explanation. Remember, do you understand? They are asking you a question: how does this system influence the business organization? You would want to explain, because you really don't know who is marking your script, so to say. And you would want that person to understand that you understand the concept. So explain what the political system is, / political environment. Do you understand? And once you've been able to explain that just in few lines, please don't just overwrite, because the person might get bored. Yeah. So explain what that is. And after you explain it, you can infuse a business organization into it to say that, okay, this is what the political system is, blah, 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 blah. And, by bringing up the concept of business organization, a business is an activity, and there's no how that, it will not be influenced by the functions of government. Then you list those functions of government. Do you understand? And from there, you start explaining, the legislative function. Don't forget to always incorporate the business organization into it, stating that, these are people that set, for instance, the executive, they try as much as possible to lay out rules and regulations that will affect, organizations based on their industries. Like I said the other time, I said, most of the time, every organization has an umbrella body. For instance, in the educational system, we have what we call NUC. What's the full meaning of NUC? That's the National University, Nigerian University Commission, so to say. They are the umbrella body for, the educational system. They help with the curriculum, aside from Ministry of Education, and all those things. Do you understand? So you infuse this into the business organization, because you are now telling the reader that, what, I understand the question, and this is how I'm going to interpret it. Do you understand? So that's my 2 cents, concerning, this particular question. So is there anybody that has anything to say? Any question? Any question? Okay, so let's move on. If we really don't have any question, then we can actually move on to the next question, which is I think we talked about question 3 here on the discussion forum. It says, why do you think that the demographic composition of a population is important to an organization? Why do you think that the demographic composition of a population is important to an organization? So who can help us with that? Remember, we talked about demographic forces, technological forces, and the likes of them. So now the question is, why do you think that the demographic composition of a population is important to an organization? Anybody?
Ma, can you ask the question again?
I said, the question here is stating that, why do you think the demographic composition of a population is important to an organization?
Okay. In my own understanding,
okay,
demographic composition has to do with population of the area, right?
Yes.
It helps the organization to make decisions about their demand, as in what this kind of people would want, the age bracket, what is the product that will appeal to this demography. I'm trying to explain it as much as I can.
No, continue, my darling. Yes, in any way you can, but just be very explicit.
Okay. But in any way, in my own understanding, just summarizing is that it just has to do with helping the organization make decision on how to appeal to the demographic so that they can make profits. That's just how I put it.
Okay.
I also want to add.
Yes, my darling.
This is Rhoda. Okay, because we know that population also has a way of affecting the distribution of the goods and services that a particular organization produces. So if the population and its distribution is a factor, which is, and we're talking about demography, talking about the population. For example, if we have in a particular location, in a population, we have more of children in that population, have more of a young, like youths, it will help the organization to look, okay, so when they are producing, they have to produce things that we really, that the youths fancy, and that will the organization, their decision in what they should go into, the kind of good or the service they should render, or what they should do. So it's a way of helping the demographic of an organization. It helps to make decisions concerning the population and how the distribution of whatever the organization produces will affect the population of that environment, and also how it will affect that organization, either positively or negatively. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much, Rhoda and Chikwendu. Thank you. I think you both have, been able to dissect, this question, so to say. Yes, because relatively we can, when you talk of demography, you're talking about population. And some certain organization, maybe for instance, maybe food and beverages, they are trying to bring up a new product, maybe for babies, and you would really want to know, the certain age, or the sex, or, all those things. So it's necessary, for an organization to take note of all these little details so that it can help them plan properly. So when answering this question, don't forget that you also need to explain what demography means. I don't know, because why I say this is, even the examiner, yes, it might have, what do I call it? It might have the marking guide. Do you understand? And some people immediately, they just show, oh, the demography and the population is important because this one. No, you need to be able to explain to the person what demography means. Do you understand? In doing so, the person is already like, okay, this person, this is where he or she is leading. Then you will now infuse the other aspect of the question into, you know, what you've built on, so that it just has that same flow. Whoever is reading it understands that this person actually knows what he or she is doing. So when you explain what demography is, the question is saying, why do you think that the demographic composition of a population is important? There are so many, it's just one straightforward question, but the question is just, you know, too wordy or too lengthy. Do you understand? So some people will be thinking, hey, are they talking about demography? Are they talking about the organization? So your mind is not really too clear. Do you understand as to what to do? But basically, once you make the definition of demography, then you now infuse it. You know, demography is already population, it's being stated there. Then you now have to infuse it or link it to, you know, the importance of the organization by buttressing those points that you just stated right now. You know, okay, yes, you talk about, maybe for instance, we have the factors here that we talked about in class, the age. These are the components: the age and sex, the population change, the birth rates, the death rates, the migration, and you know, you infuse this into the organization, you know, based on what, you know, your understanding is, and try and give, you know, relative examples that would also, because once you give examples, the person is able to understand that, okay, this is the area this person is going to. So I don't know if I'm making myself clear concerning this particular question. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Okay.
But ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please. Yes.
So in your own way now, how does it impact in the organization, the demography?
Okay, basically, Rhoda. Yes, you made mention that, you know, it would affect in terms of their planning. You want, for instance, now I made mention, you know, it can be something that has to do with, how would I put it? Maybe an internal factor, maybe in the organization, and it can be something that has to do with an external factor. For instance, now, if we are talking about an external factor, how it will affect the organization's how it would affect the composition of a population, you know, which is important to an organization. I gave an example now. I said that, for instance, now, maybe you have a food and beverage company, and then they want to actually they want to be able to bring in a new brand into the market. And they are actually trying to know maybe for instance, now they want to start with baby food, and they are looking for maybe between 0 to 6 months. Do you understand? Okay, fine. So what are they expected to do concerning that? You want to know, you know, for instance, now this is a gender whatever, because it's male and female, there's no bias here. So you want to check, okay, both male and female. Now you are looking at the area 0 to 6 months. Now you want to know that, okay, this set of people, these are the people that we want to look into. These are the people that, you know, this product will be good for. So obviously you carry out a survey, or you bring in samples of these products, and you give like maybe free samples, or you have these babies that are brought in maybe by their parents to come and sample these products. So what they are trying to say is that for this kind of example, they are using a age bracket 0 to 6 months. And the company, as doing so, you know, would be able to, the importance is for them to know that this kind of brand is only meant for 0 to 6 months, in the sense that it is digestible, it is just for that particular month, just that particular age bracket. So for them to know that population, or to know that this thing is just only for this range of people, then it's an important factor to the organization, because they've been able to market that product to just only that specific age bracket. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It can either be a two-way thing. It now depends on whatever you are trying to, you know, talk about. But whatever narrative you are giving, it has to be in conjunction. Like I said, you can use the components. Do you understand? In justifying your explanation. I came up with those components. We have the age, we have the sex, we have the birth and all those things. So whatever explanation you are giving to, you will need to coin it to what the question or the narrative of what the question is all about. I don't know, that's my 2 cents concerning, you know, this particular question. I don't know if you understand or if you want me to use another example to be able to buttress this more often. Or if anybody has...
No, with example, it makes more sense.
Okay, so...
Toma.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much for the examples and the explanation. And thank you, Rhoda, and the other lady for chipping in.
Okay, is this Mr. Kefero?
Yes, ma'am.
Where have you been since?
I've been around, so I don't I've been around.
No, we've been calling your name since now. It's like you just muted yourself, or I don't know.
Oh, today? Okay,
Yes.
I actually joined late. So I just logged in and went off because I joined earlier than the time.
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to add my own 2 cents to the conversation.
Continue, please.
So looking at it from a marketing perspective, every marketing organization usually have like a customer persona. And what that means is if you have a product that you are building, you build like an ideal customer for that product. So you say this customer is so person. This is the name of the customer. You build a fictional character for the customer. So one of those things that marketers do in deciding all these things is the demographic factor. Like, okay, the customer is between this age and this age, is male or female. So you skew a product towards the person's gender, for example, towards the person's age. So having all this kind of demographical information helps a lot in building that customer persona to say, this is what the person looks like, this is where he lives, you know, this is his age, all those kind of information. We put it in building a customer persona so that we build a unique product that would appeal to that particular audience. There's something they say usually in marketing that a product for everybody is a product for nobody. So you would assume that you have built a product for one person so that you can get that target market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pesh. Are you a marketer or have you worked in marketing department?
Yes, I'm currently in the marketing department.
Yes. Thank you very much. Honestly, this is
no wonder.
Like this, yes. Because the truth about it is that we learn from each other. You've been able to, you know, justify, you know, yourself in a way that I wouldn't have been able to. Yes, so that is why I like us to all contribute our little sense so that we learn from each other and we make learning easier for one another. Okay, so I guess everybody understands what that question is and how to dissect the question when you know you are being asked. So the next one we'll be looking at what are the arguments for and against social responsibility in organizations. So I'm going to put on the slides on social responsibility. We talked about that. So what are the arguments for and against social responsibility in organizations? Okay, so anyone?
Sorry, social responsibility is the one that has to do with helping the community where the organization is situated, right?
Yes, dear. Yes.
It has argument though.
No, what's your argument for and against? What is for and against? Because, you know, people would argue that, you know what, oh, it's good for, you know, organizations to help their community because obviously the organization is just, you know, stipulated there and there are things that are not going on well and, you know, it just shows signs of responsibility from that organization. And don't forget that even social responsibility can also be a way of marketing, you know, that organization. Do you understand? And the argument again saying that, you know, social responsibility, you know, on the part of the organization is not necessary. Some of these communities don't appreciate. So you need to be able to bring out those points. So that's why the question is, what are the arguments for and against? Don't forget that you're in a master's class, so it's kind of a debate and they would want to see all your points. Yeah. Okay, so Your 2 kobo, your 2 cents.
Hello, my 2 cents.
I
Let me just,
yeah.
I think you have mentioned the argument for, which is to support the community and to be socially responsible.
Yeah.
Argument against, which I find very interesting, is one that I read in the book, and it is that social responsibility is a waste of money. It's not waste, that is a deviation from the reason why an organization is established. So the reason why an organization is established is to make profit for its shareholders, right? So if you are now taking that money that is meant for the shareholder and then putting it in the community, so it is basically a waste, so that is the argument against. So that viewpoint was looking at social responsibility from the view that it should be that the organization should exist just for the shareholders,
okay,
and not for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the
So,
point
but we need more points now. That's not only what you guys will say in the now. So you just say.
But that's a major one, and I find it
one.
interesting.
No, it is, to be honest, because come to think of it, yes. I can't remember. I was reading one article yesterday, and it made mention of this, that most of the time, yes, my husband's work, he's talking about shareholders' value. And he said that a lot of organizations deviate from, shareholders, and they start looking out there to do other things, and the shareholders are suffering. Do you understand? Yes, it's a major point, but notwithstanding. But have you ever thought of the fact that even this so-called social responsibility, that when you have organizations actually contributing towards, a community, their own little quota, have you found out that it can be a marketing strategy for them? Hello.
In the case of all these oil communities, how is it a marketing strategy?
I said some, not all.
Okay.
And even as at that, if you think about it deeply, it can also be a strategy also. Do you understand?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not going to lie. For every problem, there's a solution. Every problem, there is a solution. The people in this oil community, if you think about it, their problem is laziness and dependent on oil resources. These people, what do they want? They only want these people, these oil organizations, to just do for them. I'm also from Niger Delta, and I can tell you categorically that these people are lazy. They really do not want to do anything. They are just bent on, because you people discovered the whatever here and our community has been polluted and all that thing, then you people should. And they made themselves lazy. Normal a job person is not ready to do anything. All they know is mostly fishing. And these people are spending billions of naira every day. Their community leaders are collecting this money. It doesn't even go to the people themselves. Maybe
yes, exactly
those things. You're supposed to say. But what I'm trying to say here is that there are opportunities for them, but they refuse to tap into those opportunities. That's how it can be. Realistically, if you think about it, there's no solution. There's no problem without a solution. It's just that some of us are short-sighted, that we cannot find that opportunity in what we are doing. And continue. Sorry to cut you short, Mr. Kesh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ikemefla, Lagos Study Center.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, welcome there.
Yeah, I was opportune to work as a brand and corporate communications manager in an FMCG in the Southeast region.
Okay.
Now, CSR, for and again, both of them. One thing you should know, if your organization, the company you work for, is located at a rural area, it saves you costs on so many grounds. But at the same time, it exposes you to some local inherent. So most times, you just compensate the community with those things to help secure your company's assets and other things from damage and theft. Because when a mind says, okay, let's go and rob this company, and this company, they provided school for us, so they provided hospital for us, so it's like giving back to the society. But at the same time, it's also 4, based on the fact that, e.g., let me use an instance of MTN. I don't know if you guys know what they call this project film that they used to do before.
Yes.
Project film is a social responsibility of giving back to the society, of raising stars, but at the same time, it's a marketing strategy of people connecting to that network. Oh, who is doing
God bless
project?
you. Yeah.
The network I can reach out to. I don't know if you guys understand me.
Yes, I do.
Now,
That's what, yes.
some
And don't
companies-
forget that,
Okay.
even when this project fame comes up and you are voting for your, what do they call them? Your best,
Making money.
they charge like maybe 100 naira per text message or so. So multi-choice, they have a percentage in all this, your 10 naira and whatever. They are also, because everything, to be honest, it's a strategy. Do you get? And in which you've just stated it already. So even this 10 naira, obviously, you people are being 100 naira, you people are, how would I put it? You people are being charged for sending an SMS or whatever. It's going to cost, cost for the winner, the amount of money that will be given to the winner. It's going to cost for maybe the charges of production and other people, you know, that have been, even if they will still add little bits and whatever. But what we are trying to say there, it's already a strategy, marketing strategy, as you said. They've been able to portray their products in a way that, you know, people would want to, you know, maybe, how would I put it, ports, you know, to MTN, or, you know, because for the fact that it's just Project Fame, you have people that have their people on that show and, you know, would decide to move to MTN. So there are different logical explanations, you know, concerning this. So what I would say is that when you are giving your points, make sure the points are very explicit and your examiner can actually narrate it. Even you can give examples, because examples would really clarify, you know, the points you are trying to buttress. For this particular question, I would say you should have 5, you know, for against, and 5, you know, against, so to say, argument for and against. So you have 5 each, but make sure that you buttress them with examples. So whoever is reading it understands what you're actually talking about. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. And don't forget that when you have questions, always try as much as possible to define the major concepts. That will give the examiner clarity as to what you understand by that question. That's my 2 kobo, Abi, concerning this particular question. I don't know if any other person has anything to say. Are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody has any other thing. Hey, I only have
Yes, we
2
are.
and 2 against 2.
You said?
I thought there would be more.
Yeah,
Google
because
is your friend. Google is your friend.
No, you know what? I would really like other people, you know, to give their own, like now, the guy that just spoke now, I didn't get your name, but he made mention of marketing strategy. This is 4. Do you understand? These are points that, you know, you can bring out, you know, for and against. So if we have maybe people bringing out different, you know, concepts concerning these questions, I think if you are asked this kind of questions in exams, you would be able to remember. Trust me, you would be able to remember to say, okay, this is what Rhoda said. This is what Hafisa said, or whoever, or Mr. Keshenro. So it's something that you will still be able to remember, because that's why I like this group interactive reading, because you would be able to, you know, narrate, or you'll be able to visualize, you know, what people had said in the past and try to put it. So I guess if we have more people talking about this particular question, we would, you know, be able to, I can see somebody's hands up. I don't know. Please, if you
I want to say that
yes.
just what the last person said, we can also get more than 1 point for to speak argument for. He also mentioned something about giving back to the environment, and this helps to guard against thefts.
Yes.
When you give, for example, in this oil area where we have, at the time you give back, these oil companies, you give back to the environment, we have some people that are like in the liaison officer in that community that will be speaking in favor of that company. This is a company that is doing this, that is giving us free education, free medical, and that we guide against that. So I would say when I'm talking about argument for, it's a way of solving problems for the community and also protecting the property of that particular organization.
Thank you very much, Rhoda. So we can, even if we list more, I guess, others would be able to try and grab such, and in case this kind of question comes out, it will be easy for you to relate with it and know how to answer such questions. Okay, so to be honest, I would appreciate if you guys can even form a study group. I guess your exams is like 2 weeks away. Always find a study group. Maybe one day you like have like a Zoom class where all of you, like I said, your examiner is not going to set anything from that is not in that course material. Believe me, every question that is going to be asked is inside your course material. For those of you that came late, I was saying that, try as much as possible to read all those questions, or yes, all those questions that are being asked after each unit, all those tutor mark assessment questions. Believe me, they are very important and key. Do you understand? So some might just speak from there, randomly and all that stuff. So it's best, you read those questions. If you can't read the whole course material, once you read those questions, you can go to those areas where the answers are and try to digest them. So that is, will I call it expo? What would I call it? But that's my own 2 cents. Nevertheless, you still have to try as much as possible to go through the course material. But basically, those are the area of concentration. Just read all those tutor mark assessments, digest them, then others that you feel that are very important, then you go through them. Yes. Okay. So, and the best way is for you guys to form a study group. Try and bring out all these questions and begin to ask each other. Then once you are done, then you go back to your reading. By doing that, I guess, you guys would, have good grades in all your courses, so to say. Yeah, because, you people are from different, you are from diverse, whatever. Some of you are in Ibadan, Lagos, and the rest, so you might not be able to see each other, but thank God for technology. With the use of Zoom and all that, maybe WhatsApp, you can always form a study group that can help you guys. Yeah. Okay. So we move on to the next question, and we are going to be asking, discuss the 3 environmental factors that affect the operation of an international business environment. Discuss 3 environmental factors that affect the operations of an international business organization. So who wants to help us with that now?
Get the question, sorry.
Discuss 3 environmental factors that affect the operations of an international business organization. Okay, so my screen is coming up. I'm just going to share. So discuss Okay, so discuss 3 environmental factors that affect the operations of an international business environment. Okay, so who wants to help us here? We are working together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me try.
Okay.
My name is Ikemefula from Lagos Study Center.
Mr. Ikemefula, long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Let me talk about political factors.
okay.
Political factors. Political factors affect international. Um, how did you put international trade or organization? I didn't get the question again. But
Okay, let me read it out. Discuss 3 environmental factors
Okay.
that affect the operations of an international business environment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, political factor. One of the factors, political factor. It's one of the environmental factors that will affect international business in terms of let's say taxation. There's what they call tax cuts.
Mm-hmm.
This is where government levies heavy tax on foreign companies that comes to invest in a country or do business in a country. So it affects them in different ways, and they're not being able to make their profits without paying so much heavy tax. Now in Nigeria, the tax cut has affected so much that companies that ought to be in Nigeria are not in Nigeria. For example, I could mention companies from the Western world, Nike, Adidas, and Co. They are not here, not because they don't want to, but because the tax cut is heavy as a levy on them. To the extent we want them to pay in their own currency, if their currency is higher. So we have another one that tariffs, commissions that organization that houses such body collect, e.g., MTN now, they remit particular amounts to Nigerian Communications Commission. Yearly, monthly, those factors really affect this company. That's why most times we get to suffer things like high cost of making calls because they need to make profit. If these environmental factors, like the political one, is being levied upon them, they tend to want to extract their gain or their profits from citizens, right, in that country. Then we have legal factor. That's the second one. Legal factor, talk about competitive regulation, talk about import restrictions or property law. In Ghana, let me use Ghana as an example, as an African country. If you are coming to invest in Ghana or do business in Ghana, there's an environmental factor that affects you that you can't use their currency. They stipulate that there's a policy that you must use the foreign currency, which is the dollar or the euro currency.
Why is that, sir?
Huh?
Why? Why?
They said it helps them promote more of their own citizen in doing business with foreign people.
Okay.
Even in their schools, if you want to pay fees in their schools, they ask you to convert the money to dollars and pay. But their citizens can pay in their own currency.
Okay.
So some of these laws affect. Then we have the third one, let's say technological factor.
Okay.
Now, not every country is that developed to use some technology, e.g., GPS.
Okay.
GPS works in Nigeria, but not in every part of Nigeria. So I could imagine going to Sambisa Forest and expecting GPS to work on the road network.
You'll be surprised that it does.
Actually,
have you gone there? We are on your own, no?
So some third world countries have issues with using technology, e.g., electricity. You can't have steady power and stuff like that. Some people are not on this meeting not because they don't want to be, but because the technological factor of where they have a phone, but they don't have light to power the phone. So some of these factors in this technological factor, this environmental factor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Akeme, for now. Thank you so much. So basically, I think you've been able to do justice to that question. But don't forget that the question also has babies. So all those factors that you talked about, like the environment, the political factor, you know that under it, they have government stability, tariff, quota, and all those things. So you would need to be able to explain all this control on international trade, barriers on it, all those things. So you will need to be able to explain all those things. You will need to memorize them and be able to explain it. So you don't just give a vague answer to say, oh, political, or this is what it means. So you will need to be able to buttress other aspects, to that question. So I don't know if I'm making myself clear, so to say. So even as an MBA student, a lot of expectations. Don't just give vague answers and just write if you are in your undergraduate year or whatever. Yes, they will need more from you. Be very explicit. You can also give examples, to be able to buttress your point or to give clarity, to that particular question being answered. Yeah, so any other person has any contribution to make concerning that question? Okay, so I think we should move on to the next one. So the next one is briefly discuss planning in a global environment. Briefly discuss planning in a global environment. Anybody? Briefly discuss planning in a global environment. Okay, the slides is coming.
Planning.
Yes, in a global environment. The slides is coming on so that I can refresh your memory. I'm just going to put that out there so that you guys can refresh your memory. Okay. So briefly discuss planning in a global environment. Okay. Anybody? So you can just look at the slides and just take a see. If you can with your 2 cents. I'm still waiting. Oh. I can see Ramat. I can see Chinoye. I can see Tochukwu. I can see Ibrahim Samson. I can see Oluwaroti. I can see Solomon. Okay, these are the people that have not contributed. I can see Faith Oluwaloni. I can see, okay, Patience has added, has contributed. Okay, Mr. Kemefula, would you like to contribute? Your hands are up again, or from the previous discussion you made. Okay, so these certain people that I just mentioned, please, you can, contribute towards this session. So let me restate the question again. It says discuss planning in a global environment. I think this question is very straightforward. So briefly discuss planning in a global environment. So anybody? Anyone? Anyone, please? Or should I call names? Madam Rhoda. Madam Rhoda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you help us with that question? Briefly discuss planning in a global environment.
Okay. From the word planning,
Okay.
From the word planning, planning is like looking ahead to the future of the things that will help the global environment. And when we're talking about global environment, we're talking about, forecasting for the larger environment, not in country, that is the global environment, international environment. So, and then I think about planning, it's talking about also the making arrangements for the future of the things that can either affect the global environment positively, and then the ones that can affect it negatively, making sure that we put plan in place to curb those things that can affect the global environment negatively.
Don't forget, we are talking about an international manager. Do you understand? Somebody that is a manager that, is actually heading, maybe for instance now, maybe Standard Chartered Bank, you have like maybe West Africa, whatever head or what, I don't know the terms that they call them, or, but maybe the person is covering Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and, West Africa and all that stuff. So you now.
Yes, that means the person as an international manager that is managing the global environment needs to know the condition, that is the market condition. Yes, let me put that with the market condition of both the local and the international environment that he or she is managing, so that it will help him in his planning as well.
Okay, so don't forget that in this aspect, you also need to explain to the examiner what planning means and also what a global environment is. Do you understand? I married the two together, because in doing so, like I used to say, it gives that person clarity. Do you understand? But if you just go straight to say, planning in the global environment and international manager is supposed to do, no, it doesn't really show clarity. The person wants to be able to understand how well do you know this concept, then how well are you infusing this concept to, the narrative of other factors. Do you understand? So basically, that's what, I would say concerning this question. Then you can now bring, like you just said now, that the person will need to understand some certain concepts. Those certain concepts, you can now bring them now. Okay. Even as at that, he would need to know the market condition. Being an international manager, you would need to know some certain things, maybe the market conditions of those places, that you are managing. You would need to know their competitors. Do you understand? You will need to know if your product that you're selling, is it growing or shrinking or whatever. So these are all these points that you will also need to be able to state out, In doing so, this person understands that, the examiner understands that you understand what you are doing. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we move on to the next question, which is value system. And the question says, explain value-based management. I'm going to bring this out. I don't know, I think I did the recording of that maybe over the week. Explain value-based management. Basically, who can tell me what a value is? When you talk about value in terms of, a business organization, what do you understand by value?
More money?
No, I'm not talking, if you talk about value, there are different concepts. Value sometimes has to do with the integrity of things, so to say, but I want you to infuse it into a business organization.
Ma, please, what was the question again?
I said, explain the value-based system. But right now, I'm just saying, do you understand the meaning of value system? Value system. Okay, just a minute. Let me bring out the slides. value system. Can you see?
Yes.
So basically, in terms of when we talk about value, you can, this one we're actually talking about is based on, business organization. And it states here that values are beliefs, so to say. My value or what I value about the product is what I believe in that product. For instance, we ladies, we have different skincare products. And your belief about some certain products, because it has worked for you, true or false. So you have a high value for that particular product because you feel that that product is good. Do you understand? But this is just an individual perception. But when we talk about an organization perception, it has to do with the value system of that organization, the ethical practice, what they do, is it good or bad, what their vision and mission, this is what we are talking about, value system. The value gives you a sense of right or wrong, good or bad. Do you understand? In an organizational setting. That's why you have different organizations having their mission and vision, because that is what their value is all about. A mission statement will tell you, oh, we are the best, whatever, trying to make sure that, our customers are being served. So they try as much as possible to stick with that statement, because that's their value statement and it follows them. Like I usually give example of these big fives, or these account consultants, what would you call them? These consulting firms like the likes of PwC, Ernst & Young, and a lot of people. Why do you think that most large organizations or most corporate organizations, multinationals, like to use this set of people? Because of their ethical value, because of the value that they actually impose on themselves. For instance, integrity, timeliness, efficiency, and the likes of all those things. So the value here has to do with, this organization, when it comes to some certain things, they are always right. Do you understand? They possess good qualities and all that stuff. So your value can either be positive or negative. It can either be good or bad. So that's when we were talking about ethics. We talked about ethical behavior. These are behavior that, seems, good, in the eye of, certain people. While unethical behavior has to do with bad behaviors, things that are not ethical. Do you understand? I don't know if I'm making sense. So. It's like I'm alone.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like I'm alone, no?
We are with you, ma'am.
Are you sure people are with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, we are with you.
Basically, that is just what the value system has to do when we talk about business organization. It's just actually saying that, most organizations possess good values, so that they will be able to portray, themselves out there properly. So, like here, we now stated two types of value. We say we have what we call the instrumental value, and we have what we call terminal value. And for the instrumental value has to do with, the value system that we try and portray on a daily basis. This good attitude, maybe being polite, being cheerful, how would I put it again? What are those things that we have to do on a normal day? How would I put it? Being resourceful. So, these ones are those systems, these values that we have to, go through on a normal day. In your office, you cannot be frowning, especially if you are working in customer service. Would you be frowning at your customer? No, you have to portray that positive value. Do you understand? By making sure you are cheerful, helping out your customers and all that stuff. So that is what the instrumental value is. Therefore, the terminal value, the word terminal, this one is like a long-lasting value. Everybody places a value on themselves in terms of accomplishments. Okay, for instance, now you want to be able to accomplish some certain things in your life or in your community. Do you understand? To say that, okay, maybe right now in my community, they are fighting. how can I, bring these two communities together so there will be peace? This is like an accomplishment, so to say. Do you understand? You are trying to look at it in a good way, how to harmonize people together. Okay, that's a long-term value. Also achievements too, can also be a form of terminal value. For instance, now you are doing MBA. That is an achievement. And obviously some of you will want to go maybe do like a doctoral degree or whatever. So these are terminal values. These are things that you would value yourself, as time goes on, so that when you look back, you don't have any regrets. Do you understand? There are things that you've accomplished and, or things that you would want to accomplish. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, you people. Okay, so anyway, your course material is there, and you can also try as much as possible.
Yes, ma.
And so
we are with you, ma.
Yes, and also, Google some of this stuff online. So we talk about value-based management, and value-based management is saying that it's an approach to management in which managers establish, promote, and practice an organization's shared value. An organization's shared values are what the organization believes in and stands to achieve. It is the reasons for its existence. Shared organization values form the organization's culture and influences the way the organization operates and how employees behave. So basically, this value-based management is the way the management actually value their maybe organization, so to say. And then in doing so, like I talked about all this mission and vision, every organization would always share his values. For instance, if you go to an organization, all these corporate big organizations, they have their vision, their mission and vision statements. Do you understand? This mission and vision statement are actually the core value of that organization, and that is what they actually use. And if you find employees that do not share this value, obviously you cannot work in that organization. You should be able to share those values. For instance, now, if you go to this faith-based institution like the likes of Babcock, Mountaintop University, Redeemers University, you find out that, for instance, Babcock, they don't wear skirts. Oh, sorry, they don't wear trousers. They don't put on earrings. Do you understand? They like makeup and all that stuff. That is their value system. That is what they stand for. Do you understand? So anybody coming into that place and does not, can say, I cannot do without wearing trousers. I don't think I can cope here. It's up to that person to leave. Do you understand? But if you are coming, you should be able to share that value. And of the people that work there, or will I say most of 50% are people that go to that Seventh-day Adventist church. So on set, they already know that this is what the church does not accept, and that is their value system. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You hammer.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Go on.
Sorry, I just need to cut this call. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so you understand. So based on that, that is just the, the shared value system. That's the value system to say that this is what we stand for, this is what we are doing. So we need to be able to share this with our employees. And, it becomes a culture already for them, because that is what they stand for. So for instance, now there's an example here. This is, I think, a sports clothing company. And what they usually do, I think they are manufacturers of sports clothes and maybe all these sporting gears. And try as much as possible to use, I know some manufacturing companies abroad now, they try as much as possible to recycle. I don't know what they use. They make recycled clothes now for people to wear. I don't know if you've come across, like what I'm wearing, I know that it's from a recycled company. I think when you are buying the product, they will say recycled or something, maybe from, I don't know how they do it anyway, but they make clothes with it. So they are trying to preserve the environment. So maybe because of all this climate change and all that stuff. So this Patagonia company, they are strong advocates for, the environmental, and they're strong advocate for the environment. So because of climate change and all that stuff, so they don't believe in some certain things that, you know, you should try as much as possible to recycle items. Don't just throw them away. You understand, you know, and how to keep the environment friendly from, you know, pollution and the rest of it. So these their core values, they actually inculcated it to their employees. And what they did also was, you know what they now did? They now started making it compulsory, or sorry, they were giving their employee benefits, you know, for recycling or doing some environmental, maybe, how would I put it? Trying to, what's the word? They were trying as much as possible to inculcate their employees, you know, to be environmental friendly, so to say. And also, they also did not leave their employees out. Their customers were also aware. And, you know, they started giving their profits, maybe based on what they sell. They were now giving their customer, you know, for people that were practicing what they did, they were now giving them some percentage out from the profits that they made on a yearly basis, because I had to go and, you know, do my research concerning this. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to say that this is our value, this is what we are practicing, and this is what we are preaching. We are not just saying, we are also doers of what we say. And, you know, we are trying to make the environment a friendly place, you know. So this is what we are doing, and this is what our value stands for. If you go on and go on, you will see some other companies also. I think if you go to your course material, they also use this Avon Cosmetics too. This is like a cosmetic, I don't know if some of you ladies know Avon. You know, it's an American-based cosmetic company. And, you know, aside from that, they were always also able to share their value with their customers. For women that had breast cancers, you know, how many cosmetic company will come and, you know, tell you about breast cancer, but they infused it into their own, you know, marketing strategies to say, you know what, this is what we believe. Breast cancer is something that it's everywhere right now. You find out that you have 10 women and 5 of them, you know, have breast cancer and all these things, because this is something that, you know, it's a kind of disease that really affects a lot of women. And they came up with a saying that, you know what we need to do? In our adverts, we need to showcase these breast cancer survivors. How are those people been able to, you know, how have they been able to deal with this disease, and how have they been able to, you know, make progress, you know, in their future? So it's a way, and they place the value, you know, on their product, on these customers. And you find out that after a while, Avon was selling so much because of this awareness. They were able to create that value for themselves and also for the customers, in which these customers actually, you know, were able to buy into. So basically, that's just what the value system. I'm sure if you read your course material, you'll be able to understand better. I think I've wasted your time. I'm not going to call it a waste, but I think we've been able to do justice, so to say, to some of all these questions that we've asked. I don't know. So who has any question before we go, so that we can just round up? Anyone?
Yes, please. Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, so my name is Patience. Thank you so much for your time. You know, I really appreciate the time you have given us to explain all those things. Now, I want to find out, is this going to be the last class before the exams?
I think I have one more class, and that's week 8.
Oh, okay.
I might just do this as a post-recording video. We might not come to class, so to say. I would, because I've resumed fully at work now, so I'm going to be a bit tied up. But I don't know, maybe if we can try and look for a weekend where we can finish up this class, and if we cannot, then I will just have to do like a post-recording. I think it's concerning career management system. Oh, no, not career management system.
Okay, okay.
Global comparative management. Yeah, sorry to cut you short there. Yeah.
Okay. So, but if we want to like organize the weekend class, how do we get in touch with you? Could you drop your number or something for us so that we can
you have my
ourselves?
email. Some of you have my email address. I usually
okay, so
email address. Yes. on.
Okay, so we can communicate to you via the email.
Yes, you can. Yes. Sometimes, yes, we can. We can.
Okay, then I also just want to use this medium to inform the general class. As you said, we should have a study group.
Yes.
So I've created a link for a WhatsApp group. So anyone that is interested could just join, and then we'll continue from there even after the class.
Yeah, thank you
I
very
dropped
much.
it in the chat box. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think that's a good one for you guys, because before your exams, just try as much as possible to interact. And when you do that, believe me, some people are better hearers, than, it's what they hear. That's what they try as much as possible to put down. So it gives you that retentive memory. You can just visualize what you guys were saying, who said it, and and when you are reading, it also adds up to, your thinking, and, you are able to measure these things together, and, very good basis when you are writing your exam. So I wish you guys all the best in the exams. I pray that Almighty God will crown your efforts with success. Coming back to this class next year, all of you are all going up in Jesus' name. So
Amen.
Thank you. Let's be Oliver Twist a little bit. I think we also need in that the next class we are going to have. Please just give us another area of concentration.
Like I said, there's no area of concentration. I don't know who is setting your examination questions, truth be told. What I said is that
okay,
all the questions will come out from your course material. Nobody will set anything outside your course material. And I said, concentrate on those total mark assessment. Read your course material, very important, but concentrate, try as much as possible to answer those questions. Do you understand? In doing so, some would set from there, but maybe they can twist it. But whenever they ask you, that this is what it's relating to. But try, as a group, you can come up with those. Somebody can list all those questions out. And when people are interacting, you can, try as much to dwell on those questions. Then when you go back, doing your own individual reading, then you can read the course material. So that's
all right, ma. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay, dear. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Ma. Please,
so
I want to suggest the Saturday class, since everybody is there now. First of all, I want to say thank you very much. You've been very, very, the class has been very interactive, and then we really enjoyed your facilitation. God bless you. So I want to say that we should agree on the Saturday class, since almost everybody is here.
The truth about it is that I don't want, because I won't lie to you, my weekends are overly busy. But by God's grace, I will try and see what I can do. Maybe somebody can actually send me a message tomorrow. How we go, because usually, honestly, I have so many things doing. Yeah. So I'm not going to. And in doing so, you can also state what you want us to do, because virtually we've been able to, I think, dissect all these questions that we have in the discussion forum. So I don't want a situation whereby we just get to class and we are just looking and we really don't know what we want to talk about. So it's best for somebody to list out those things, and we come to class. It's 1 hour, we all discuss on it, deliberate on it, and you understand. So that's it, so that we don't beat around the bush, please. So, but by Friday, I would expect somebody, maybe in the evening, 5 and 6, to send me a message to see my availability. So then by then I will be able to tell you what time would be appropriate for me or convenient for me to be able to set up a class. So I would appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay, ma. So please, my fellow managers, could we just click on that WhatsApp link so that we can all be in the group and then take a decision? One person will send a mail and then revert back to the group on whatever information she gives us. I think that will be very, very good.
Okay, so let me just wait for some few minutes so you people can click on the link so that I don't cut off and the link is being seen by all.
Okay, thank you, Ma. They're already joining the link. They're already
Okay.
joining the group. Yes, please.
Okay, no problem. So they can always share the link to other colleagues. Yeah, so you guys can start from. Okay, so it's bye for now. So hopefully I see you guys on Saturday by God's grace. So take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
Bye.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you. We
Bye.
appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
ma'am.
Thank you.
I appreciate you more. Bye. Bye.